What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Blazers Uprise Live here on a Thursday. Interesting news out of the NBA today as the league is looking to finalize an agreement with the Players Association to make the NBA draft a two-day event, where the first round would take place on Wednesday, June 26th, and the second round would take place on Thursday, June 27th. I'll give my reaction to this and let you know whether I think this is a good idea or not, and then we'll also talk about how our content here at Blazers Uprise could revolve around a two-day draft, because that, of course, would completely change things in terms of our draft coverage. Meanwhile, after getting blown out in 4 of their past 5 games, the Blazers will try and avoid a repeat performance tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder. One of the 4 games we'll be picking for picks against the spread. But before we jump into that, I published a piece for 750 The Game discussing whether or not Chauncey Billups deserves criticism for the Blazers' recent struggles, and there's a link in the description. I'm also going to drop that link in the live chat in case any of you want to go check that out. The Chauncey Billups conversation right now is hot, and we'll probably talk about that in this stream. We'll probably talk about it a little bit more on the post-game show. Last post-game show, we really went in on Chauncey Billups, and I think the criticism is deserved, but I did write a piece for 750 in case you guys want to go read that. Unfortunately, Eric doesn't seem like he'll be joining us today. Of course, he could message me and join last second. I'd also love to hear his thoughts on the two-day draft event. He did tweet that out, and I will read his tweet once we get to that segment. But first, we got to start with picks against the spread, and I am a happy man right now because I have finally ended up in first place. Chat, this is my spot. I am number 1 now. I'm the captain now. And hopefully I'll be able to keep it. I'm first to 100. 180 is my record. I went 5-1 on Monday. Chat and Arrow, what happened? 1-5 on Monday for both Chat and Arrow, who were battling for the top spot. Let me sneak up on them and steal it. Everybody else below them did better than them, so everybody gained ground in terms of games back. You had a 4-2 day from Steven. Everybody else went 500 or worse. So me and Steven were absolutely cooking on Monday. We're also going to have a new release of our podcast hopefully this weekend. We got to get back on that grind. I'm looking forward to Steven's thoughts on some things. That, of course, will be right here on the second channel. Everybody else 3-3. Eric had a push on his double down. He doubled down on the Bulls. That game was a push, so he's going to have to make 2 double down picks today out of the 4 games. Zach's record on double downs is not 9-120. I always manage to have a typo in this graphic. 9-120 on double down records would be extremely sad. As far as double downs go, we were 7-3 on Monday. Somehow went 32-39. So basically, did good on double downs. Every other game, we sucked at. Well, not we. I had a good day. You love to see it. We'll see if I can maintain that top spot with the 4 games that we have to pick today. Jackson said I went 3-3 without picking the first 3 games. Dang, yeah, we gave Jackson losses because he wasn't here on Monday and games started. So, you know what? You probably would have lost all of them anyway. You probably would have went 300 anyway. Consider yourself lucky because everybody was losing those games anyway, it seems like. Anyway, first game we have today. This is a great matchup. There's some really good matchups today, really intriguing matchups. And then there's the Blazers game. So in this one, you got the Milwaukee Bucks hosting the Boston Celtics. Potential Eastern Conference Finals preview right now, as these are the top 2 teams in the East. You got some other teams that are making some ground, that are looking better, including one that we'll pick coming up. But in this game, Milwaukee is a 2.5 point home favorite over the Celtics. Let me get you your chat poll chat, and then I will read off injuries. What's up, Taylor? Good to see Taylor. Good to see all of you in chat. Let me finish typing that. There you go. If you want to hear injuries, wait to vote. Once again, for the Bucks to be the right pick, they have to win by 3 or more. If the Bucks win by 2 or 1, or the Celtics win, then the Celtics are the right pick. Injuries for this game. There is one player out for the Celtics. That's Al Horford due to an illness. Everybody else is healthy. And then for the Bucks, they're only missing one player. That's Jay Crowder. Everybody else is healthy for them. So Horford's out, Crowder's out. These teams are basically healthy. Basically healthy. Let me pull up the picks that we got from Crushables. He's going Celtics. Still waiting on picks from Chase. Hopefully Chase, I don't know, shows up maybe. Stephen Vaughn is going with the Celtics as well. 503 is going with the Bucks. Gotta love the green graphic. We got Celtics for Jackson, Bucks for Trevin. Eric sent me his picks. He is going with the Bucks. He also needs to make a second double down. And forgot to. I'm going to go Celtics. And then we're waiting on Zach and Arrow. We got Arrow saying it's a tough one. Zach, I don't have Zach's number. Eric's always the one who calls him. I would love a day where everybody shows up and everybody makes their picks. We got Celtics for Connor and Bucks for Arrowmancer. This is a tough one, I agree. Connor, Celtics, Bucks, Arrowmancer, and then chat. You guys are going with the Boston Celtics, 68% of the vote. I'm just going to have you guys vote on your double down. That's the easiest way to do it. There's 4 games, so you can do a poll with 4 teams. So that's how we're going to be doing this thing. Right now, it's a split vote 5v5. Don't have Zach in here and don't have Chase. So shame on them. They do have until 4:40 to make these picks. All right, game number 2. We got your Portland Trailblazers heading into OKC. The Blazers at 10-26, Thunder at 25-11, and therefore the Thunder are 13-point home favorites. Got some interesting things on the injury report today for your Portland Trailblazers. DeAndre Ayton is still out, Jabari Walker is out, and Malcolm Brogdon is out due to rest, which is intriguing considering some of the trade rumors around him. Also, Moses Brown out, Robert Williams out for the year. As far as the Thunder go, they are completely healthy. They have had really good health this year, so they're going to have their full complement of players. Jackson said he went Celtics. Okay, my bad. I will fix that. Arrow, make sure you log that. Did I mess up any other picks? Let me know. All right. Yeah, game number 2. Let me get your chat poll chat, and then we'll pick this one. There's your poll. I am not going to bet on the Blazers. I'm just going to take the Thunder. Chase sent me his picks. Awesome. Let's go. Chase, in game number 1, he went Bucks. I'm going to change the Bucks logo to tan so we can actually tell the difference. There we go. There we go. All right. In this one, Chase went Thunder. Eric went Thunder. In chat, we got Thunder for Trevin, Thunder for Jackson. We got Thunder for Connor. Is anybody ballsy enough to take the Blazers? Right now, that's not the case, as even 503, who I think has picked the Blazers quite a bit this year, he's going Thunder. Steven is going with the Thunder as well. Is anybody willing to roll with the Blazers? Crushables, Thunder. Waiting on Arrow and chat. You guys love the Thunder. If Zach was here, he'd probably go Blazers. Arrow is going with your Portland Trailblazers. He wants to continue to lose ground to me. I love it. All right, Arrow goes Blazers, and then Zach, unfortunately, MIA. Next game, third game out of 4. This is an intriguing one because you got the Dallas Mavericks versus the New York Knicks. The Knicks with OG Anunoby have been playing terrific basketball. The Blazers saw it in their previous game where they got absolutely smoked. And the Knicks are a 4.5-point road favorite in Dallas. Only one player on their injury report. It's Mitchell Robinson. He's out for this game. Knicks recently got denied a disabled player exception for Mitchell Robinson, and now they're optimistic he might be able to return this year. The Mavericks have a long injury list. Out for the Mavs is Derek Lively, Luka Doncic, Dante Exum, and Maxi Kleber. Maxi Kleber's actually listed twice on the injury report. So Mavs without Luka, without Lively, the two notable ones there. I guess Exum's also notable. He's been playing good basketball for them. I'm just going to roll with the New York Knicks chat. Let me get you your chat poll. All right. Taylor says, why is the spread so small if Luka is out? Kind of weird. Feels like obvious pick. Because it's on the road and they still got Kyrie. I can double check the spread. These spreads are, of course, you could get them all on BetUS if you use our link in the description box below. All the spreads, all the information is from BetUS. Yeah, the spread is 4.5. It honestly, like, obvious spreads tend to never be obvious. Like, I always feel like there's a game most days with picks against the spread where we're sitting here saying, like, wow, what is this spread? Like, everybody goes one team and then the other team is the correct pick. So, obvious spreads are always tricky. We got Knicks for Arrow, Knicks for Jackson, Knicks for Connor. So, Arrow, Jackson, Connor. Looks like we're going to have lots of agreement today. Knicks for Trevin. Yeah, if you guys are that confident in this game, you can get in on BetUS. Use the link in the description. You'll get a 125% deposit match. So if you deposit $100, you'll get 125 extra dollars on top of that. That's $225. All right, we got Crushables going Mavs. Don't know if he knew the injury report or not. You got 503 going with the Knicks. This is going to end up being his double down, too. Chase went Mavs, and Eric went Mavs. Steven went Mavs. And chat is going Knicks 95% of the vote. All right, so we actually got 4 people for the Mavericks. They're all people that send their picks beforehand. Everybody making their picks alive went Knicks. The final game, another good one. You got the Lakers hosting the Suns. The Suns are 1-point road favorites. These teams basically identical records. And then injury report. It's a long one for both teams. For the Suns, Damian Lee is out. And then a bunch of players are actually listed as available. So the only players on their injury report actually is Damian Lee, he's out, and Drew Eubanks is questionable with an illness. And then for the Lakers, Gabe Vincent is out. Rui Hachimura is doubtful. Cam Reddish and LeBron James are questionable, and Anthony Davis is probable. It's kind of a wild injury report there. Basically, this is as close as you can get to a pick'em without it actually being a pick'em. Because negative half a point would just be a pick'em. Because you can't tie, you can't score win by half a point. I'm going to go with the Phoenix Suns in this one. We got Suns for Trevin, Arrow, and Jackson. I'm slightly uncomfortable with how much we are agreeing on things. Eric went Lakers. Chase went Suns. Steven Lakers. Let's see. We got 503 went Suns. Crushables went Lakers. Connor went Lakers, and Chat went Lakers with 52% of the vote. Alrighty. Actually, I had some disagreement on that one. Going to be an interesting game at the end of the day. Now time for Double Downs. Chat, I'll make your Double Down poll. You guys, let's see, Double Down poll for chat. I have a feeling I already know what it's going to be, but you got the Boston Celtics getting 2.5 points at Milwaukee. Can't type. You got OKC minus 13 versus Portland. You got New York minus 4.5 at Dallas. And you got the Lakers +1 versus Phoenix. Alex R says, "Oh, damn, Tori, you came back." Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm here where I belong. You know the first verse of Coming Home? That's me right now. I'm going to double down on the Knicks. Chase's double down is the Thunder. I swear, we've doubled down on the Thunder a ton this year. A ton. Trevin's Arrow's double down is the Knicks. Trevin, is that your double? Yeah, that's your double down, right? Trevin's double down is the Suns. Might have a lot of orange on this graphic. Jackson's double down is going to be OKC. Last stream, he doubled down on the Blazers. This stream, he's doubling down against the Blazers. Eric's double down is going to be the Thunder. I should probably double down on the Thunder, but I don't know. Thunder for crushables. I feel like the Blazers might come out and actually, play hard. And actually play a little bit of defense. But then again, SGA is probably going to score 50. And Chet Holmgren's probably going to block Scoot Henderson 6 times. Stevens' double down is the Mavs. So Stevens doubling down against the Knicks. That's going to be interesting. Trying to make some headway there. 503's double down is the Knicks. And then Connor is doubling down on the Celtics. Chat, you guys. Wow. It's a tie between the team that I thought you guys were going to pick and OKC against Portland. So next vote breaks the tie. Next vote for one of the two leaders there. I thought you guys were going to go Knicks because Knicks got 95% of the vote. Taylor Packer says, yo, speaking of Steven, we need some Scorching Trails, man. That's the best pod ever. Yeah, planning on trying to get something out this weekend. We got 38% now for both options, so it's still a tie. 36%. No Zach? Nope, no Zach. All right, chat's going Knicks. It says it's going to say it's a tie, but Knicks went up when I hit end pull. And then right after I hit end pull, it went back to a tie. So chat's going Knicks. Because chat could not make up their mind. And in a tie, you guys voted 95% for the Knicks. So there you go. Anyway, that is Picks Against the Spread. Thank you all for participating. As far as the Blazers go, this matchup tonight, not much faith. They've kind of been picked apart by high-level guards when they've played them. They got blown out by the Mavs twice in a row. They had absolutely no answer for Luka. You look at the Knicks game, Blazers doubled a lot. They have no idea how to rotate out of double teams. They have no idea how to position themselves on the backside of double teams. Like, they don't even double team effectively. The defense is a mess. I don't think they're going to have any answer for SGA. Chet is a massive matchup nightmare, assuming Duop Reith is starting. Chet's going to get his in this game. I just don't think the Blazers have a defensive answer for this OKC team. And then you look at the offense. So they've gotten blown out in 4 of their previous 5 games. In those 4 blowout losses, the Blazers have averaged 93 points. That's with Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, Malcolm Brogdon. That's awful. That's absolutely awful. The only game they win, they go into overtime, they have to put up 134 points on the board. Right? Their last 2 wins, I believe they scored 134 in both those wins against the Nets and the Spurs and given up about like 127 to 129. Somewhere in that range. I forget the exact numbers. But basically, that's the type of game that the Blazers have to have tonight to win. But the Thunder are too good defensively. They get done on both sides of the ball. Like, going into this game, I haven't had confidence in the Blazers having a chance in some games this year. But, like, I am very confident that the Blazers basically, there's no chance they win this game. If they win this game, I'll be absolutely shocked. If they win this game, I should have to do something that chat suggests that's embarrassing. Because at this point, I might as well just guarantee a Thunder win. It is going to be interesting to see the minutes breakdown with Brogdon being out for rest. The Blazers don't have Skylar Mays anymore either. So Shaedon Sharpe probably isn't going to play 22 minutes like he did last game. He's probably going to play more. I am not shaving my head. I am not stripping on stream. Chat is a little too wild. But Brogdon out for rest. I don't know if that has anything to do with the trade. The Blazers could just be trying to keep him from getting hurt. At the deadline, they're going to try and trade him. They need him to be healthy. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they made up like he like jammed his finger, he sprained his finger, and he's out for a week and a half. Because that wouldn't kill his trade value, but it would also allow the Blazers to just simply rest him with a BS injury and then trade him. Which, at this point, watching Malcolm Brogdon play, he looks like a guy that wants to get traded. He looks like a guy that doesn't want to be on a team that's 10-26. He wants to win basketball games, especially if he's going to be coming off the bench. Especially if he's only going to be playing 20 minutes a game. If he was playing 35 and jacking up 22 shots a game, maybe he'd be okay. I think he's handled things about as professionally as you could expect a guy coming into a young, losing team as a veteran with 3 core young guards battling for minutes with him. I think he's handled things well. He's going to be in a different uniform by trade deadline day. I fully support them resting him in this game. I don't think it means anything is imminent. But also, I can't rule that out. I don't know. There could be talks that are progressing that tomorrow morning we get news. I'm not sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if a Malcolm Brogdon trade happened a little early. Because it's obvious they need to trade him. You saw the OG trade happen a bit early. And There's multiple teams out there looking for a guard like Malcolm Brogdon. It just comes down to the Blazers. How fast do they want to do this deal? Do they want to try and hold out for extra value? At this point, Malcolm Brogdon probably is not going to play his way into having extra trade value. Even if he shoots the ball crazy well over the next 3 weeks, is that really going to change what the Blazers are truly going to get back? Probably not. Probably not. Now, what could change in terms of his trade value is if you drag it on to the deadline and then teams get desperate and then you manufacture a bidding war, that can obviously bump up his price. However, in order to do that, you have to keep Malcolm Brogdon on the team for three weeks, and you run the risk of him potentially getting hurt to the point where he'd have no trade value at this year's deadline. That is the downside. Is the upside of a potential bidding war, does that outweigh the potential downside of an injury happening? Because he's dealt with things during his career. He, of course, had the injury this past offseason where the Clippers weren't willing to waive his physical, and it got a trade that had been formally agreed upon. It got that trade nixed. So, as far as Brogdon goes, I wouldn't be surprised if the Blazers just take the best offer in the next week that they get and think that it's good enough to move off of him compared to maybe trying to extract a little extra value by keeping him on the team. But the Brogdon situation is going to be fascinating. The Blazers do play a back-to-back. They do play tomorrow at Minnesota. So part of the rest could be because they are playing a back-to-back. And it's easy to use that excuse on the first night of a back-to-back with a veteran player. So that is my thoughts on Brogdon being out tonight with rest and his situation. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm willing to answer them. And Eric, easy money guarantee. The Thunder are easy money to win, in my opinion. But that's why the money line, in case you guys didn't notice, I include money lines on these graphics. The money line is negative 850. So you got to bet 850 to win $100. So if you think the Blazers will straight up win tonight with BetUS, if you bet $100, you could win $570. That's what the plus 570 means. It means a $100 bet, you win $570. If it's minus 570, that means you have to bet 570 to win 100. So that's how money lines work. But yes, easy money Thunder tonight. Alex Wolf says, we'll take Thibault off our hands. He's a Cavs fan. Does Thibault will want to go there because Thibault has a no trade clause. That's going to make trading Thibault difficult. Can we sacrifice a mod to appease the trade gods and get 2 good picks? I don't think any of our mods are worth a first round pick. Maybe Arrow. Zach didn't even show up today, so he's being suspended. So his trade value is going through the floor. I love trolling our mods because they always troll us. It's all love. Chat's tripping. All right, so draft. That's what we're going to finish up the stream with. By the way, post-game show tonight will be live approximately, most likely, 8:20-ish. 8:20 to 8:30. Tuesdays, Thursdays are tough with early games because of Rec League. So I'm going to get my workout in. I'll watch the first half. I'll probably get pissed at the product on the floor, and then I'll go take it out on the floor myself. Chauncey Billups talking about Chauncey Billups, we will save that for the post-game show. I kind of want to reference some of just the condescending statements that we've been seeing on Twitter from people regarding Chauncey Billups' criticism. It's just kind of ridiculous right now. I kind of want to go into that a little bit, not to attack anyone, but just talk about how silly I think it is. If you've been following me on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. But the final thing we're going to talk about, the NBA. Before I get into this, Eric says he got left on red by Zach. That is brutal. Man, oh man, that's brutal. The NBA wants to move the draft to a 2-day event. to a 2-day event. Sorry, I just on Twitter I saw some Kalen DeBoer like rumors, which have me stressed out right now as a Washington fan. The NBA wants to move the draft to a 2-day event. I'm going to tell you guys how I feel, but first I want you to vote on how do you feel about it. So I'm going to do a chat poll. How do you feel about the NBA draft being a 2-day event? I love it. I'm okay with it. I dislike it a bit. And I absolutely hate it. That's your options. Let me know in the chat poll. I'm curious, because I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this. A lot of things I feel like I can tell what our community and what fans will think of something just because I know chat, I interact with chat, I interact with you guys. But this, I have no clue. I have no idea. I've seen people that are cool with it. I've seen people hate it. Before I give my opinion, I will read off what Eric tweeted about this. Since he is not here, I will read off his tweet. He quote tweeted Adrian Wojnarowski's report that the NBA is still working on a final sign-off from the Players Association, but the NBA draft in 2024 is preparing to move to 2 days, June 26th and June 27th. So Eric quote tweeted that and said, "This is super lame. The second round isn't big enough to warrant being on its own night." Chat, 32% say they're okay with it, 26% say they hate it, 23% say they dislike it a bit, and 19% love it. So it skews on the negative side, but pretty equal reaction across the board. If you love it, let me know in the chat, and I'll read off a couple of your comments. And if you hate it, let me know why as well. I've been struggling to I don't know, like part of me is okay with it, part of me hates it. I think the NBA needs to go to 3 rounds. Every team should have a G League team, and then the third round, you're like drafting people for that G League team, right? The NFL has a 7-round draft, but they have more prospects, right? So it's not really applicable to that. They don't really have a developmental league. What that system is comparable to is the minor league system in MLB, where they have like a 40-round draft and a bunch of different levels of minor leagues, right? The NBA doesn't have a bunch of different levels, but you got the G League. You got the G League. And it should be more of a minor league system. I've talked about this before. It should be more of a minor league system with the G League in the NBA, where you can easily swing players between both rosters more easily than you can right now. And you have a third round, maybe a fourth round, where you're drafting players to be a part of your organization, but they're more likely in the G League. If that was the case, if this was a 3-round draft and you wanted to have round 1 on day 1 and rounds 2 and 3 on day 2, I'd understand it. With it just being a 2-round draft, I don't understand it. I don't really understand it. One of the reasons why the NBA is supposedly doing this is so that teams can have more time between the first and second round to like work on trades, work on deals, and apparently teams have gotten frustrated with the frenetic pace of the second round. I kind of understand that. The second round flies by in the blink of an eye. I know this because if you guys have followed our previous NBA draft live streams, I'm trying to update graphics and do a bunch, and I can't even keep up with how fast the draft is moving along. The solution to this, I don't think, is having the draft on 2 days. I think the solution to this is maybe having an hour-long intermission where you, in terms of the broadcast, can focus on interviews with players and recap the first round. Before you dive into the second round, it gives teams time to work on maneuvering within the second round and that sort of thing. But with it being a separate day, fans that attend the draft have to go home, go to their hotel rooms, whatever, and then come back. And the second round is not enough of an event to hold the level of intrigue like the second and third rounds of the NFL draft, where those players you're drafting, a lot of them will come in and play right away. In the NBA, that is not the case with the second round. So that's the problem I have with it being on 2 days. I do think it's intriguing in terms of our content. It'd be intriguing to have the first round end and then like have time to talk about like what's available in the second round and have, you know, not just jump straight into it. So the time between the first and second rounds is going to be intriguing, and we'll probably, I don't know. I guess we come back for an NBA draft stream part 2. I am kind of bummed out with that because I like it being one big event on one day, one evening to dedicate towards all 60 picks. But we'll find a way to make it fun in terms of our content and make it work. We always find a way to make it work. I'm just not really a fan of it because it doesn't matter enough for it to just be the second round on a second day. If it's a second and third rounds, that's enough where you can say, okay, yeah, like that's too much for one day, so let's just put round 2, round 3 on another day. So I think the NBA needs to transition to a G League system for a 2-day, or if they have multiple minor leagues, a 3-day draft if they have 6 rounds, you know what I mean? Like, they can expand this. Eric says, that was going to be my suggestion. Just have like an hour break. Absolutely. An hour break. Why does it have to be on 2 separate days? Or a 30-minute break and then have more time between picks in the second round. It doesn't have to be that frenetic. Some of what goes into this is broadcasting and television rights and this and that. I'm sure ESPN wanted this, right? It's on ESPN, right? Yeah. ESPN probably wanted this to be a 2-day event. They probably wanted to be able to hype up day 2 after day 1. And at the end of the day, it's probably a win for the NBA. But I feel like less people are going to tune in for solely round 2 than they would have watched round 2 if it was right after round 1 and it was just a 1-day event. I'm not sure this benefits them. Of course, they have people that know this stuff much better than I do. That's their jobs. I'm just a dude on YouTube, so I don't know. But I dislike it a bit. I don't feel strongly enough about it to say I hate it, but I dislike it a bit, is what I would go with. Eric, let me know what you would vote as well. Let me go back through chat and see if there was anything noteworthy. Taylor Packer says the second round is just something that fanatics watch or casuals still have playing because they watch the first round. It's a horrible idea. Absolutely agree with the logic that people that might have watched the second round if it was right after the first are now going to check out. With an hour-long intermission, though, they probably would also check out. So I'm not sure there's a great fix there. Trevor Williams agrees with me. If they do it at a third round and have it tied to the G League, absolutely. Just run a normal minor league system instead of whatever the system is now. David Lester says more NBA money grabbing attempt. I agree with that. Mute That Bozo says seems weird, but I'm going to have to see it. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, at least I'll have time to like update all the graphics the night of and be ready to go the night after. Taylor Packer says, I suppose for you guys it might be beneficial because you get an extra draft day stream, so more views, right? I mean, I don't think so. Like, we would maintain 1,000 viewers at least into the second round. I'm not sure we're going to come back day 2 and hit 1,000 viewers. Concurrent viewers, not total views. Concurrent viewers. I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to see, though. Jonathan Never says also forces the broadcast to focus some time talking about the second rounders instead of just having it be an afterthought, as it was before the entire show is dedicated to the top guys. That is a positive. He also earlier said, and what's the second round replacing on that day? SportsCenter at night. It's not like it's going to be taking the place of an actually interesting broadcast. There's definitely a case you can make for it being a good thing. This is one of those things that we're going to have to see how we feel after it. Just like the play-in games, there was a lot of opinions when they first made the play-in, but those opinions changed after we saw the play-in. Same thing with the in-season tournament. It's going to be that way with a 2-day NBA draft. Stress Free says, love it because it gives teams more time to do trades and this provides more content and possibilities. See, if teams are actually making trades in that window, then it becomes fun. Then it becomes fun. And I guess it gives us a chance, as Jonathan said in chat, it gives us a chance to focus on, okay, The Blazers have the 34th pick. Who should they take? These players are left on the board. We have a whole night to talk about that. So that could be a lot of fun, actually, because the Blazers right now have a second-round pick from a team that is struggling. I forget who. Let me look at Tankathon. Right now, the Blazers would have the 34th pick via the Charlotte Hornets. That pick's not going to get any worse than that, basically. So the Blazers will have a pick early on in the second round. Actually, 2 picks early on in the second round. Because they also have a pick from Atlanta that would be 38th right now. So, for us, it could be a lot of fun to have a lot of time to talk about, wow, the Blazers have the 34th and 38th picks. What do they do with it? But I could also see the Blazers combining those 2 picks to trade up to 27, and then it's like, well, we have nothing to talk about. So that will be fascinating. That will be fascinating. I wish we had these 2 early seconds in like last year's draft. This year's draft class is questionable, but there will be some players there that are intriguing. We'll be talking about, should the Blazers draft Bronny James at 34? So, I don't know. I'm in between. I'm okay with it, and I dislike it a bit. I don't know how to feel about it, though. Eric says he hates it. He says a good portion of second-round picks are traded anyway. Why do they need more time for something that happens like crazy? I mean, but how many of those trades, Eric, are like, they're on the clock, and it's like a last second, like, we don't want this pick, screw it, we'll take this. There's not really a ton of opportunity, it seems like, or a ton of time to actually negotiate these deals. And it just seems like scatterbrained. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why teams wanted a little bit more time. So now those trades might happen before the second round, instead of randomly like, oh, this team's on the clock. Oh, wait, is this their pick or not? They drafted this guy. Oh, it's getting traded. If more of those trades happen before the second round, I'm cool. I'm happy with that. So we actually know what is happening, because the second round goes by so fast. There's so many trades. We don't even know what's happening. We don't even know who's going where or what's what. So, but if it's something where, okay, well, it's on 2 days now, and teams wait until the second day and then make all these crazy trades in the middle of the second round, then it's like, what's the point? What's the point? So, just have to see it in practice, in my opinion. Anyway, chat, final tally, 31% say they're okay with it, 28% say they dislike it a bit, 24% say they hate it, and 17% say they love it. That's pretty even across the board. Thank you for voting in the chat poll. I always love being able to come here, talk to you guys, and get your guys' opinion on things. It's fun for me. Taylor Packer says, let's be real, though. Cronin ain't drafting who you want in the second round, Tori. He exists only to disappoint us. Hey, he drafted Jabari Walker. And I was cool with that, and Eric wanted him, so, I mean, maybe he comes through. But, yeah, I can't wait for the video after the first round, the night before the second round. Will the Blazers draft Zach Edey at 34? With the tag, this is scary. Jonathan Ever says, theoretically, couldn't you trade guys who drafted in the first round since it's still draft day? IDK if that would happen more than it already does. Just a thought. I don't think it would happen more. Eric Brandt says, with how much work we put into the draft, it's kind of a relief when it's over. We're not going to have a ton of energy to make vids or content that night or the next morning in a timely manner. I will. Like, it gets hectic after. The second round is what wears me out. The second round is what wears me out, because keeping up with all the graphics, keeping up with everything becomes overwhelming in the second round. In the first round, it's easier. Also, I need to not procrastinate as much. So, I think I'll be fine, but yeah. Anyway, we can talk about this a little bit more on the post-game show, which will be going live a little bit late. Game should end at about 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Stream will probably be at 8:30 Pacific time. I'll let you guys know, of course, if it ends up being earlier, but just expect that tonight. Shout out to Taylor Packer. He says, no one does draft day like you guys. The content is genuinely A+. It's my favorite stream of the year for sure. Yeah, I mean, I put a lot into draft day. So I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad you love it. We don't just sit here and go live for like the first 32 picks and then get bored and end the stream. Like, I love the draft. I enjoy college basketball. I enjoy scouting prospects. I try and bring that love to light and make it intriguing and fun for you guys. That's my entire goal. This channel is basically just what I would have wanted as a fan. So that's a lot of the motivation behind what we do. Eric says we'll have less than 3 days until free agency too. So basically what you're telling me is I'm going to have to not procrastinate as much for free agency content. Or I need an editor. Yeah, because free agency starts on the 30th, huh? Like 3 p.m.? The 30th? That's fine, though. I might just reuse the same graphics. For the draft, I probably will reuse the same graphics. But I'll ask chat closer to around that time, should I reuse the same graphics or should I create new ones? Because I'm happy with our graphics package last year. It was pretty clean. Anyway, chat, yeah, post-game, as I said, expected around 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. Follow the channel on Twitter. We tweet out every time we go live. Also join our Discord. There should be a link in the description box below. Follow our Discord. We tag everybody in our Discord, so make sure you have notifications on. We tag people when we drop stuff. So whether it's a Hoops Crush podcast that came out earlier today, right here on the second channel, you guys can watch that if you want, or whether it's a 750 article that dropped today from me talking about Chauncey, which we'll talk about on the postgame show tonight, or whether it's Blazers Uprise Live postgame. Everything we drop, we tag you in the Discord, so make sure you're in that Discord server. It's the main place for the community to hang out, free of all the BS on Twitter, and we tag everybody, so make sure you have notifications on. There's a link to that Discord server. Once again, that article, if you want to read it, I will also post that in the chat. And that's a wrap for this edition of Blazers Uprise Live. Thank you for joining. Hopefully we'll see you tonight on the post-game show. And until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!